There were 1,000 ways to sink a submarine in World War II. Torpedoes, depth charges, naval mines, systemic failure. On April 14, 1945, German submarine U-1206 found the 1,000th way. Technically, there was nothing unusual about U-1206 itself. It was a Type VIIc, the backbone of Germany's U-boat fleet. More than 500 of them were built, and for years they terrorized Allied shipping across the Atlantic. But life aboard one was a constant battle against the ocean. Unlike modern nuclear submarines, a Type VIIc couldn't remain underwater for long. Once submerged, it relied entirely on electric batteries. As those batteries slowly drained, the submarine was eventually forced to surface to recharge them. A dangerous gamble in a war where Allied aircraft and radar were constantly hunting for U-boats. There was another problem. Older U-boats couldn't simply flush waste overboard while deeply submerged. Instead, sewage was collected in onboard holding tanks. Those tanks could only be emptied safely when the submarine returned to shallow depth or the surface, where the pressure difference was manageable. Every time the crew needed to empty them, they risked exposing the submarine to Allied radar, patrol aircraft, or enemy ships. German engineers believed they had solved the problem. They developed a revolutionary high-pressure toilet that could discharge waste while the submarine remained hundreds of feet underwater. It was an impressive piece of engineering, but it came with one enormous drawback. Operating it required a precise sequence of valves, pressure chambers, and compressed air controls. It was so complicated that only a specially trained crewman was expected to operate it. That system would soon be put to the test. According to Captain Karl-Adolf Schlitt's later account, while submerged 200 feet off the coast of Scotland, the 27-year-old commander attempted to use the high-pressure toilet himself. Unable to operate the unfamiliar system correctly, he called for the specially trained toilet technician to assist. To flush at depth, the inner valve of the pressure chamber had to be completely sealed before the outer valve was opened to the sea. During the attempt to correct the problem, the wrong valve sequence was followed. The outer valve was opened before the pressure chamber had been sealed. A high-pressure blast of freezing seawater erupted back through the toilet system, carrying raw sewage with it and flooding the compartment. The torrent flooded the forward compartment and poured through the floorboard grates directly onto the submarine's massive battery deck below. The moment seawater hit the lead-acid batteries, a violent chemical reaction produced a massive cloud of lethal chlorine gas. With toxic fumes spreading through the corridors and crewmen struggling to breathe, Captain Schlitt was forced to do the very thing the high-tech toilet had been designed to prevent: make an emergency surfacing. The submarine broke the surface just 8 miles off the Scottish coast, directly beneath a patrolling Royal Air Force aircraft. Choking on chlorine gas from within and taking fire from above, Captain Schlitt realized the boat was doomed. He ordered his crew to abandon ship into the freezing, turbulent North Sea and commanded the scuttling valves opened, sending U-1206 to the bottom. In the chaotic evacuation into heavy seas, the exact death toll remains debated. Most historical accounts place it at 4 crewmen who died from drowning, exposure, or the attack itself. The surviving 46 men, including Captain Karl-Adolf Schlitt, were recovered by British forces and taken as prisoners of war. Schlitt survived captivity, returned to Germany after the war, built a successful civilian career, and lived to the age of 90, forever linked to one of the most extraordinary incidents in naval history. Germany's high-pressure toilet was engineered to keep U-boats hidden beneath the sea. Instead, it forced a 770-ton war machine to the surface, directly into enemy hands. There were 1,000 ways to sink a submarine in World War II, but U-1206 ensured that history would never forget the 1,000th.